awesome friends, Ella and Laci.
Hello.
And today we are going to talk about how social media is bringing us together instead of making us more self-centered and isolating us. We fight that perspective, and we are going to use social media and technology to build each other up and stay connected.
So we have a list of questions here, and we're just going to kind of go down the line and read them off and just have a discussion about them. So I'll draw the first one. So what are some things you do to get yourself in the zone? So I am currently pursuing acting, and getting myself in the zone for each like monologue that I have, I used to think that it was going to be super easy before I got into acting lessons. I just would read the lines off, but once I started doing acting lessons, it was like a lot more in depth of the things that you have to prepare before you can start it off. Like, what was your last scene? Where are you coming from? Like, are you mad? Are you happy? Like, that's kind of how you approach the next scene. You know, you wouldn't be like having a fight with your boyfriend or something and then like going to the next scene like, hey, you know, you probably have a certain kind of aura about you after something like that. And so there's a lot of things that can kind of help, but it's a lot of preparation. So it's definitely not quick, but you just have to get in the right mindset. You have to think of your character, have to think of their past events. You can kind of make things up too and kind of create a character in your head. Like, what would this person be going through? Like, how would they talk to their friends? How, you know, you have to picture a person in your life that you are comfortable with. You know, like when you're delivering a scene and stuff, it's not like you're talking to a wall or something. You know, you have a person that you're delivering the message to. So you have to think about what you're talking about, think about who you're talking to, and then kind of start. And so it's hard. I used to think it was so easy, just like saying my lines, but I don't know, like how with your dancing, if you have to do something that kind of gets you in the zone, I feel like it might be just as hard too with dancing.
In a way, yes, but in a way, no, because it's kind of funny because sometimes even without music playing, I have it playing in my head, and I pretty much dance anywhere.
That's
even
great.
in the grocery store, and so sometimes I just have to. Yeah, you can dance with carts, like shopping carts.
Oh, that's
I do
fun.
partner dancing, I do country dancing, so sometimes I'm kind of pushing the cart and spinning the cart.
That's fun.
So, and sometimes all it takes is a song, and sometimes, so far, just, I'm thankful that I haven't had trouble getting into the zone yet. So,
Nice. Well, that's good.
yeah. So, but most of the time, it just takes a good song to get me started.
Nice.
What about you, Lydia?
Well, when I'm doing a difficult yoga pose,
Uh-huh.
the best thing for me to do is take like 10 deep breaths because it centers me, and that's kind of what it takes in order to get upside down or, you know, hold your whole body weight up with your hands. And so really just calming down, breathing, trying to get rid of all thoughts, and then going into it is usually how I get into the zone, to get into the more difficult types of poses.
Yeah, that would be hard. I've tried yoga, and I love it. I love it so much, but I don't know if I could get into the advanced levels where you're like putting your knees on your elbows and lifting yourself up. Like,
You can.
It's incredible.
It just takes practice.
That's so cool,
Yes.
though.
So, what events in your life make you so passionate about what you do? I would say dance competitions, and also just teaching, because sometimes couples or just people come in and they talk about how they've been wanting to dance but they didn't know how to, and all you need to do, like one of the first things I tell them is that if you can walk, you can dance. And okay, so back to competitions, I just feel so alive when I'm competing. Whenever I'm on a dance floor, I feel like just anything else that matters, or any problems that you have any problems you have, it kind of just goes away. So
I love that.
yeah,
I really feel the same way. Like with film, I just love how no matter what you're kind of going through in your life, for 2 hours or around 2 hours of your time, you can forget about that, and you can either laugh or you can cry, or you just put yourself into another person's shoes. I mean, it really is. I've heard this quote before, and I can't remember who said it, but it is the art of empathy. You know, it's something about picturing someone else's life and thinking about situations that they've gone through, and whether it be funny or sad, you know, it lets you forget for a few minutes about what you're going through. Or it can help you. It can honestly like kind of be like, oh, you know, I feel like I'm going through the same thing, or like I'm struggling or something, and it either just puts you in a better mood or it just kind of helps you progress in whatever situation you're in. But I like that because it makes you feel so, when you said it makes you feel alive, like that's how you want your passion to be. I mean, that's why it's your passion. It makes you feel a certain way, and you feel like you're connecting with other people at the same time. Like, I think that's when you're working with other actors, everyone's in a different character, you know? Like when you're dancing, everyone's dancing, you know? It's like you're all doing something specific, but you're in your own unique way kind of thing. So I thought that was really cool, and it made me realize like, oh yeah, I feel like that is why I'm passionate too.
yeah. And also because like I just love country music, so every time in that one song, that 3 to 5 minute that you're dancing with that person, you just get into the song and you pretend like you're playing the characters in the song, and you just act it out.
Never thought about it that way. I'm usually just like listening to whoever's teaching the dance. Like I'm just focused on you.
Well, that's why performing and dancing is a little different. Because like if you're taking a lesson, you're gonna focus on technique and what to do, and you know you're paying attention to your feet, like what you do with your body. But whenever you're dancing to a song, you're like, let me just get lost in this song and put myself into this person's. Just put yourself in their world and just try to express, I guess, what the song is trying to say. That's why I like performing.
Nice. How about you, Lydia?
Some events in my life that make me so passionate about what I do. Well, I got into blogging and yoga and healthy cooking because I was a high stress student, and high school I was straight A student. I had the highest GPA in my class, and that rolled over into my adult life with anxiety, and so yoga and eating healthy has relieved me of stomach issues, which usually comes along with anxiety. And learning to calm myself and share it with everyone else is why I'm so passionate about it, because I feel better as a person now. So just from, you know, past events of being, you know, just high strung and, you know, wound up too tight, now as a yogi, you know, people are like, oh, sometimes you give off a Zen vibe. I'm like, that's great, because I used to not be like that. So that's why I'm passionate about what I do. All right, let's see what the next question is. Describe a tough time and how you got through it. Describe a tough time and how I got through it. Well, I could talk about getting the blog started. Working a full-time job and trying to write 4 articles in a week was actually really tough.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time. It takes me anywhere from an hour to 2 hours to write an article, depending on how much editing and time it goes into processing it. And then working a full-time job, and at the time I was selling CBD also. So really managing my time well and trying to not lose my mind, that was pretty tough. But after it was done, it was really rewarding, and that's how I got through it, was because of the purpose behind it. So that would definitely be a tough time, and that's how I got through it. Was just like the purpose and the reason why I'm doing it's for myself and for others. So.
Yeah. Nice.
With time management, because so I.
Are you not so good at that?
Not the best, no. But just because I graduated last year from college, and so I was working in college full time and also trying to dance and compete and travel to places. So that's probably the toughest time because I feel like there's not enough time in a day and there's so much to do. And you're like trying to balance things. It's like school, work, and dance, and so you're trying to be good at it. So that's probably the hardest thing.
Nice. How did you get through it?
Just gotta do what you gotta do.
Suck it up and keep going.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I graduated and I started working and still keep dancing. Just didn't give up.
Well, there's many tough times. I mean, I would just kind of go towards my career too with, trying to pursue acting. Like, it's not easy. It takes a long time. And I mean, when you wanted to do it since you were really little, like, as you get older, you get kind of antsy with it because you're like, just happen now. Like, when's my big break going to happen? And it just takes so much time to get involved in things. I mean, you audition for stuff and you don't let that discourage you from getting told no and stuff. After I got into acting lessons, I realized okay, it's not about, me. It's not like I'm terrible, it's just that I'm not right for that part. And you have to tell yourself I'm going to get told no left after right, it's just going to happen. And you can't let that say, man, I'm just not good at this. It's when you've been told that you are, listen to it. People will be honest with you and they'll tell you if you're wasting your time. And I haven't been told that, so I know that this is where I need to be. It's just it's tough when you really want it to happen now, and you just have to trust the path and know okay, it'll happen when it's supposed to happen. I'll get that phone call, or I'll get that the yes on that audition when I'm supposed to. And just not letting that kind of stop you from what you really want to do, and not letting other people stop you, because a lot of people in your life can even the closest people can hinder you. They can say, why don't you just do this? It's going to be so much easier to get involved in. You're going to be making more money right away. Why don't you just do that? Those are usually the closest people in your life will say those things. And I hate to say it, but it's usually parents that are just do something else, Yeah, and it makes you feel like you are failing in a way, because you're you feel well, should I, do that? But you just have to know, no matter if you're not doing your passion, you won't be doing whatever else you're going to be doing for long. Or you may be doing it for 30, 40 years and your life, you're just miserable and unhappy. I don't want to live a life like that. I would rather struggle to do my dream than, be making decent money in something that I hate, So just, letting go of any negative energy that people are trying to kind of put in your life, and just focus on what you really want to do, what your goal is, what your passion, because no one else is living that life but you. It's so easy for people to say oh, why don't you do this, why don't you do that, but they don't reap the consequences, they don't reap any kind of benefits. So just focus on your mindset of what you want to do. That's what helped me. What advice would you give to others about pursuing their dreams? I just answered it, so.
Yes.
That's funny. Well, I guess y'all two can answer that.
Okay. I would say don't give up, because my mom's kind of the same way, because growing up she was you can't make money dancing. And then when I brought home my first belt buckle, my mom was wow, she was just looking at it and playing with it for like 15 minutes and looking at me, be like, wow, did you win this? Did you make money? And I feel I can also see my mom just I guess she was because like I said, growing up, she was like, okay, you can't make money out of it. And when I was going to school and I was teaching lessons, and I was like, hey, Mom, I'm teaching lessons, and she's like, oh, how much money do you make an hour? How much do you charge for an hour? Things like that. And she's like, wow, okay, maybe you are good at it. Maybe you should go after it. So just the closest people, it's probably going to be the closest people to you telling you that it's don't do it and things like that. You just can't listen to them. You just have to go with what you believe and go after it, because you don't want to live a miserable life, and you don't want to do it for the money, because if you spend about 40 hours a week or 40 plus hours a week doing stuff you don't care about, you're just going to go home feeling like
So
you're
true.
exhausted. But if you're doing something you love and you're like, okay, I'm tired, but I'm tired and happy.
Yeah.
And I'm inspiring other people. So
Nice.
just don't give up.
Yeah.
What advice would I give others about pursuing their dreams? Pretty much what y'all have said, and that is perseverance is key. We live in a society of lazy sprinters when life is about the marathon, and a lot of people don't realize that. I hate to quote Tony Robbins, but he says people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 10. And with acting or teaching and building up your clientele with dancing, or even as a blogger, it takes time to get people to believe in you and follow you and sign up for your class, and all of that is super tough. So my best advice would be to stick to your dreams, and your family is going to be the one. My mom's like, when are you going to have a baby? I'm like, Mom, I'm trying to have a career right now. Maybe later. So family, definitely hold true to yourself and, persevere.
I love these conversations because even though we feel like we're struggling ourselves, like in our own little world, everyone else is kind of, especially in our age group. I mean, it could be older, could be younger too, but we're all kind of trying to live out our dreams. And, we may be thinking, this is just taking so long. Like, everyone else seems to have their life together. And it's so easy to think that on social media. Everyone looks like their life is together on social media. And so when we talk about it, it's like, wow, okay, so I'm doing okay for 24. Like, I'm not like, just in my own little boat here. Like, it's nice to kind of feel like I'm not alone, and that social media is a way to put good things out there, yes, but, being honest and being true and, building other people up, and just, we know that how good it feels to, have other people kind of build us up, and so we should do that in return, especially girls.
That's what we're doing, right? That's what we're trying to show you, that we can bond as women and friends and business entrepreneurs and connect and grow from here.
Yeah.
I think being supportive is important. And so if you're seeing someone doing something great, just comment and heart, because positive reinforcement is important. And if them seeing that, okay, it's like, okay, other people like it, it makes you feel good.
I'm so glad y'all came here, and I really look forward to doing this again.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
I really enjoyed this.
Yes, me too.
And we're all going to share this on our social media.
Yes.
And please follow us
and have good comments, please.
Positive comments.